Assalamu alaikum, welcome back. And for the new subscribers, welcome. I got the expansion done. This new fencing is done and the gate is put into place. Now, that board there is not going to be there permanently, is there temporarily until we get some more wire. We ran out right at the end. So let's walk in and enjoy this little garden tour. So this is the bird bath water fountain, and I got this new garden bed around it, and I'm going to add soil and have some flowers put in there that can sprawl out. I think it's going to be absolutely stunning as the first view when you walk in from the garden. And then up against this fence, I have a portulaca, a Peruvian lily, and a dianthus. And then I do plan on putting a rose climber there, and then have it climb and sprawl all over this fence line. And then I put some new bird feeders up. I have 2 of those. And then in this fence line, I have another 2 portulacas. I have a clematis also. Look at this portulaca, beautiful colors. And then the clematis is still little, but it is going to vine against this fence line and cover that entire fence line. And then I have a white hydrangea that I have there. And then we have, my chickens. And then we are going to go to the green stalks. Please excuse any mess that you see. We are still very much in the project of getting this garden expansion put together. But look at this borage. It has taken over from the last time that we saw it. Remember when it was smaller? It grew so much now. And this area, this garden bed, this green stalk, we have oregano, and I'm going to show you that if you cut it, because it is starting to get a little linky, and I don't want it like that. I want it more bushy. So I'm going to cut it right a little low, and then if you see like those 2 little, like there's new growth coming through on those sides, it's going to push out more growth and it's going to bush out more. So always remember, prune your herbs and you will get more. If it starts looking slinky, prune it and it will grow more. And we have more strawberries in there and everything. And in this green stalk, we have remember the zinnia flowers we put in, and they were tiny. Look how pretty they are now. They're bushy, they're growing more, they're blooming so much more, and the colors are popping out of this terracotta green stalk so beautifully. This sage is grown a lot more from the last video. And the dill has also grown a lot more since the last video. And in this green stalk, remember we put more, majority of it is green beans and garlic. And I think there's a few strawberries in there. They're growing really well too. This is a new item. It's a new bench to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee on a cool day. Hopefully in the fall, I will be enjoying this a lot more. And in the summer, I guess I could do a little bit of water here, but majority of the time I'm going to spend is going to be in the fall. Nice fall sitting area. And I love red cardinals, so I went with the red bench with the red birds. And then we have this strawberry tower. This green stalk is filled with strawberries, and it is putting out a lot of runners. They want to push out so many runners, and that's okay. What you can do if you have that happen is put that runner into some soil. You can take some little pins and pin them down as well. They do sell these little type of pots that you can clip onto there and then have them there. And then when it roots, then you can pull it out and put them somewhere else, wherever you want to plant them. But they're free strawberry baby plants that you can get out of the runners. And if you don't want the runners, then you can always cut them right off the plant. It's fine. And then in this garden bed, this is filled with different things. I wanted to try something different and kind of really try to pack the plants and see if there really is a difference in production. So this is kind of my experiment garden bed this year. So I have thyme in here. I have I have 2 cucumbers in here, space-saving cucumbers, but they do get a little bushy. And I have some peppers in here, jalapeno peppers, bell peppers, poblano peppers, sweet banana peppers. I have a couple of pepper plants in here. I have a couple of strawberry tomatoes. This is my first jalapeno pepper of the year. Yay. We have some 3 indeterminate tomatoes in here. And then in this garden bed, I have some green beans, and in this one, it is the pumpkins, squash, acorn squash, watermelons, honeydew, cantaloupes. I have all the melons in here. And I have okra also in here. So okra will grow tall, and then I plan on having like the melons and the watermelons and everything vining through, and then they can kind of sprawl out of the garden bed that way. And then in this garden bed these are my climbing trellis cucumbers. I think they're the poinsett cucumbers. And they are growing crazy, so I'm trying to put them back on the trellis. And then once they get those tendrils start reaching for the poles, they'll start climbing up by themselves, and I don't have to train them to go up. So this is me just trying to put them on the trellis so that they can start training to go on the trellis and grow on there. Because if I don't do that, they will go sprawling everywhere, which is, I don't really mind, but I did want them on the trellis. So this is me just training them now to get on the trellis, and they'll do that. And then also I have like strawberries in there, in the mix of that. I have some dill. I have some Roma tomatoes. I have some Tiny Tim tomatoes in this one. I have some parsley in here. And I think I also have some squash in this one as well. I believe it's the acorn squash, if I'm not mistaken, that I put in there. Either acorn squash or butternut squash. And then over here I have the fig tree. It's growing. And we have a pomegranate that is starting to flower, and that flower fell on the floor already, but we do have lots and lots of flowers getting started to grow on that one. Another fig, and then we have some blueberries going down this pathway, going down that fence line. And then this is where the gate used to be when we took it out, and we put an arch here, arch trellis. And then I have a yellow rose climber that I put there that's going to climb over that trellis. Now, I was giving you a little disclaimer before I lost the mic, but if I thought maybe there was a snake, and I wanted to let you know that if there is one, you would have heard me scream and run. So, just a heads up, that's what I was taking a little long on this spot for. It was because I was trying to give you a little disclaimer of that happening. We have a kumquat. This is my little citrus section that I made like a little citrus patch. We have a satsuma orange. We have a improved Myers lemon tree there. We have a bay leaf tree there. We have a lime, and this one is a lime, and then we have a pink lemonade variegated tree here. And my plan is, yes, I put them in the ground. I do plan on doing like a frost fabric wrapped around each individual tree, and then I'm going to put some T-posts in the corners and wrap the whole entire thing with like bubble wrap to try to keep it safe over the winter. I don't mind a little frost damage, but I don't want it to completely die. So I'm hoping that the weed fabric also will help with keeping their roots alive and warm enough, and also having the bubble wrap and the frost fabric should help. Then this is the peach tree, Big Bertha. She is still, carrying the fruit and producing the peaches. So We're waiting on that. And then these are my sunchokes. They're doing really well, healthy leaves. We have the potatoes in here, in this bucket, and that bucket is potatoes. And then we have the sweet potatoes. Remember, we planted those together, and they're doing great. Look at how they're starting to bush out. They're starting to vine. They're doing wonderful. And that's the horseradish. That one's doing great too. The leaves are good and healthy. And then this is a pear tree here. And then we have 2 peppermints in these pots, and rosemary, spearmint, spearmint, rosemary, and thyme. And in this batch, we also have spearmint, lemon balm, oregano, thyme, and peppermint. Gotta have your herbs. Without herbs, you don't have tea and you don't have seasoning. So we need the herbs in the garden. This tree, I can't tell you what it is. We lost the tag, and I think it's a pear or nectarine. But this tree was chewed in half, and it looked completely dead, and I wanted to pull it out. But then in the spring, I started seeing a little bit of green budding. So I left it to see what was going to happen. And this is all new growth from this spring, okay? This tree looked it completely dead. You see my hands, it was me pointing to how little the bark was left of that tree. It was pretty much, it was ready to be pulled out. And look, this is only growth from this year. So just a heads up, in case you have a tree that looks like that, give it some time just to see if it might come back. And this is another pear tree with a little baby pear on it. And those the green containers are my blackberries that I have in there. And in this garden bed, now this garden bed has a lot of weeds. It's growing a lot of weeds that I need to come out and spend the day weeding out of this garden bed. But this is my celery in this section, celery and peppers. This whole garden bed is majority peppers, but I do have some celery growing in here, and they're doing well. They haven't went to seed or anything. And pretty much I have all types of peppers growing in here. Bell peppers, isitos. We have like the banana peppers, jalapeno peppers, chili peppers, cayenne peppers, all types of different peppers is in that one. And then we have this big old zucchini that has literally taken over this whole area. It is covering some of my pepper plants, and I need to come out and prune this zucchini plant. Like, look at that leaf. That leaf is bigger than my head. Like, it's crazy. It really is. And you can't even see that there's an onion also growing under there. There's peppers growing under there. And it's covering the entire thing, right? Like, you could play peekaboo with the onion. See, peekaboo, look at that. It's right there, and you wouldn't even know. And it's bulbing really good, so I'm happy. It doesn't seem to be bothering the onion. It's bulbing, and it's doing well. So we are soon close to being able to look at the weeds. Look at it. It's ridiculous. It overran me, but we are almost there. We're almost close to harvesting those onions. This is a grapevine. When it gets a little taller, I plan on having it, attach it to the fence line and then letting it sprawl against this one. And I have another grapevine on the other side of the fence too. So pretty much all these fences will be kind of covered with something, and it will look kind of like an invincible fence. Just lots and lots of leaves growing on there, right? And hopefully fruit and flowers. In this garden bed, this is the Swiss chard. This Swiss chard grew a lot larger than these. I don't know why, but it did. It's almost time to start pulling on those, getting those out. The purple cabbages, I'm most likely going to give to the chickens. They didn't really do anything. The kale is doing good. Need to harvest those kales. And then my lettuce that you will see me, that I'm going to harvest these lettuce. This is the first time I grew head lettuce. I usually do leaf lettuce. And I wasn't sure if I was too late with the head lettuce. I thought for sure I wasn't gonna get any head lettuce. I thought it was gonna bolt and go to seed, but I did get some head lettuce. And then with this, you're just seeing me remove all the bottom leaves. We don't want that. That can go in the compost bin. Any green leaves that still look good can go to the chickens, so the chickens will have a nice treat. They do get lots and lots of treats in my garden because I grow a lot of food that I can throw to them as I harvest. So we got some head lettuce there, and we're gonna continue harvesting some more head lettuce. And there's some little ones in there that I'm gonna let finishing up to finish closing up. But a lot of my this is my first time with head lettuce, and they did really well. And I do plan on planting more head lettuce for the fall. So yeah, these are the onions. The onions are bulbing up really good. I will be harvesting a couple of those pretty soon. They're going to be ready. And we have like smaller bulb ones those are the second round of onions that I planted, kind of like a succession planting. So pretty much those are larger bulbs and these are the smaller bulbs. So we'll have like a second harvest of the onions. I didn't want all of the onions coming out at the exact same time because that could be overwhelming when you're dealing with that many and having to dry everything out and figure out what you're going to do with it. I didn't want to do that with everything. Trying to cut my my job a little bit in half. So this garden bed is rutabagas, radish, beets, turnips, and carrots. Now, my radishes, I already harvested everything. And then these are the turnips here that you see me starting to harvest a few of them. I didn't harvest everything, but I did harvest a few just to have a few for dinner tonight. So we got those turnips, rutabagas done. And then here we had the turnips. I kind of overseeded, and I wouldn't suggest people to do that if you are specifically trying to get a set number of root vegetables. But I did overseed because I do like to throw a lot of greens for the chickens. So it's kind of like I plant not just for me and my family. I also plant for my chickens, and that is a turnip that I just pulled out. And so there I do have to come out and do a full harvest, but I just did not do that. I ended up just grabbing a few things as I needed them, and while I was doing the tour, so I can show what was growing in there, and what was the plans for the next wave of things. So when I pull all this out, it will be some more extra peppers in there, and I most likely will add some more tomatoes. And this is the tomato patch now. This is the indeterminate tomatoes. I am growing Cherokee purple tomatoes, sun gold tomatoes. I have a Goldie slicing tomato, beefsteak tomato, a Ukrainian grape tomato, a regular red grape tomato, and few other varieties that I can't think of right now. So yeah, this is where all of my indeterminate tomatoes are, my basil, and some other, some more herbs like tarragon and curry and rosemary. There's a lot of herbs in the middle of this area in between. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like the video, and please like, share, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Assalamu. Bye.